Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our fifth episode of our Inspiration with Ines, our series dedicated to inspiring conversations on wedding planning. Today, we're so excited to be talking to Christian Oth, a world famous photographer and founder of the Media Group. He's recognized as one of the world's top fashion photographers and has been featured in many major publications. He knows a thing or two about capturing a beautiful photo. Over the last 20 years, he's shot everything from ultra high-end weddings to fashion editorial to art and photojournalism. Today, he's going to talk to us about his personal style and how to capture those special moments of your big day. What to keep in mind when you're finding a photographer with the best fit for your wedding. So let's bring in Christian. All right, let's bring him in. There he is. All right, we're waiting for Christian to come in, and we're so excited for everybody.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Hi, Christian.
Hi there. Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Oh, that's
I
great.
can wait. I'm going to see you in New York. Okay, I'm so happy to see you now.
Oh, I can't wait for both of you to come to New York. It's going to be so great.
We're looking forward to it, Christian.
Yeah, whenever
I
we
miss
can
that.
again.
How are you doing? Tell us how you've been.
Well, it's been an interesting year for everybody, and we've been doing our work. Obviously, like in the last year, we had when it comes to weddings, we had a lot of postponements and some cancellations, and a lot of weddings got moved from last year to this year. By the way, can you hear me well? Is this good?
I can hear you really well,
Oh,
perfectly.
okay, okay, great. Just I don't know what the sound.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, you never know. So a lot of events got moved into this year, and what we're seeing now is that the ones that were booked last year in the beginning of the year, they moved to the beginning of this year. I'd say the spring and early summer. And a lot of these clients want to move again to the fall, but some are staying, some are moving forward. So it's kind of a mixed bag. So that's that. We've had photo shoots, and we've had so we've had work. We've had some weddings that still went forward last year in the middle of the pandemic with social distancing and everybody getting tested, etc. So, it wasn't like we didn't work, but obviously it was a lot less. We were some weddings were kind of scared, to go into, because you don't know, but yeah, I think it's very much a shared experience with everybody. So the good thing now is that there is this amazing light at the end of the tunnel. I'm in New York City at my photo studio here, and you walk around the city and you feel like the city's been written off for the last 6-9 months or whatever, or a year actually almost, and it feels like it's coming back, and it's got a vibrancy. Obviously, it's not anything like at the level it was before, but there is something in the air. Our phone's ringing a lot. Like, we are actually booking very, very much into like the later part of the year, and 2022 is going to be a lot of weddings taking place because obviously there's, as you can imagine, there's a tremendous backlog, and so we are very excited about it. We are very excited to just get out there and and photograph and get creative, and so it's can't wait.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
we know we're going to be really busy, and we know, good things are going to come. Let's just jump right into it. Tell us how you got inspired to launch your career as one of the top photographers, and also how did you get into wedding photography?
Yeah, so it's interesting how I got into wedding photography. It's kind of, I fell into it, and I early on in my career I was dabbling a lot, and I tried photojournalism, I tried still life photography, I tried, and I did fashion photography, which I still do. It's not my main thing, but I do it quite a bit, and I do also commercial campaigns and all that. So somehow I felt like by combining like photojournalism and fashion photography and some elements of still life photography. Well, those are the requirements for photographing a wedding, pretty much. And so I felt like I had like these skills in all these different areas.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, and then I got started by friends were asking me at the time. It was like, hey, can you shoot our wedding? Like for very little money, but
Right.
that's how I got into it. And then there was like one photographer like a long time ago. I was like second shooter for weddings. I did it for about a year. And and then about 20 years, I said, okay, well, I can do this pretty well. And I was really inspired to do it. And so I got started with it. And at the time, 20 years ago, wedding photography was really bad. Like it was like there were like there's a real stigma to being a wedding photographer, and
Right.
like you also,
I agree.
and I think like 20 years ago we sort of emerged that time, like those 80s dresses with the poofy stuff. I think some of it is actually coming back in a cool way, but it's it like it was I love doing it, and I love being different about it. Yeah.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
And you are very different,
Yeah.
And
Oh, thank you, Ines. Thank you.
photographers kept that special moment, and I value that so much. Thanks,
Oh,
to
thank you.
photography.
Yeah.
That's actually one of our questions. What's your secret to capturing that moment so beautifully? I think you hit it on the nail, Ines. That's exactly what you do.
Well, that moment, it has a lot of ingredients, actually. There's a lot of things that have to go right in order for that moment to be there. And, and there's a lot of stuff that, a photographer needs to have in his toolkit, his or her, toolkit. And so, like a natural ability of like realizing when there is a moment, and then also making sure that that the subject is in the right kind of a light situation. So there are parts of like when I'm shooting that I like influence, and I go in and like, okay, well, if you're getting ready over there in the dark corner, that's not good, and because there's a mirror over there, no, let's get you by the window. The window light is always so beautiful. So it's like but I don't overstep my that. I like to go in and sort of like really capture what's going on. There's a little bit of a tweak. So there's that. But also the real biggest ingredient to this is that there's a lot of communication beforehand. Because a bride needs to be a bride. To all of you brides who are out there, on your wedding day, you've done a lot of planning and everything like throughout, and you've done a lot of research, and and you picked the colors and picked the designs, and you picked a beautiful wedding dress. But on your wedding day, you gotta like let go. You gotta be in the moment, enjoy the day, and if you enjoy the day, I'll see it in your face, and the camera will capture it. And and this is my message all the time to my brides, and just make sure that you really are in the moment. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that like when you're on your wedding day, it never goes right 100%. Maybe 99%, maybe 90%. But give it some room for failure, or like some room for like it's never going to be like 100% perfect. Yeah, you think you can, but not. But don't sweat that if that's if it like rains on your wedding or something like that.
Right.
We'll make it work. That's life, that's weather, and why not? So. So
I love
being
that.
in the moment, like that is the biggest gift you can give me, and I'll work around that. It's all with good energy.
How do you work with a couple? Like, how do you start the process? What are the important questions that you ask? How do you know that you're the right fit for each other?
Well, it's mutual. Like the biggest thing is that you build rapport, and if you go in there and for example, like if you are interviewing photographers as a bride, and there's going to be like you love the photographer's work, but then when you meet the photographer, you kind of like don't like that person, and don't hire that person because it's not going to be good. I mean, in my world,
Right.
So getting along with my clients, with my brides and my grooms, and whoever my subjects are, is of utmost importance. So building rapport is is key. So, and with that, a lot of communication. I sometimes what gets forgotten a lot is sort of a check-in before the wedding. And that's important, you know. And the check-in, like when I work with wedding planners, like sometimes the check-in is between the staff, you know, like my studio manager and whoever handles the timeline. And I always insist on meeting the client again, at least via a Zoom call, or or we do like a little shoot or something, like an engagement shoot.
Right.
Or so the check-in is very important, like because the nature of weddings is that you get booked, about a year in advance, or like 9 months, a year in advance, a year and a half, whatever it is, and so that you connect, you connect and reconnect and everything, and and then then you have the wedding, and then you're kind of friends,
Right. I think building a rapport, I mean, it's the same when we're working with the bride. There's a level of trust and understanding, and and that synergy is important. What are some of your favorite ways to photograph the wedding gown?
Well, so my style of photography is when it comes to weddings, it needs to feel authentic. I can't stand anything that feels like too much of a pose. And even though I do pose somebody without them knowing that I pose them, because I know what works. I know like I have my composition. I know like I want that in the background, and you're gonna look good from this particular angle, etc., etc. And so my sort of methodology is that I put my subjects in motion a lot, and not all the time, but a lot. It's because I avoid the one thing is that they get bored. Like that they have to wait for the photographer while he futzes with the camera and figures out the lighting and everything. It's all very dynamic. And so when it comes to photographing brides in their wedding gowns, I like them running, and I like them sort of running away and looking back, and like, as long as they want to do that, whatever they want to do. And I sort of, and there's a bit of an there's like two energy fields that that are there, and you want to connect on that level, and then you're gonna get, it's sort of, I don't know how to explain it really, actually. It's like it's just like you get this magic happens,
Can you show us? There's this photo that you've taken, and I know Ines and I know it. I think this is going to be a treat for her because she doesn't know that you're pulling this out. But this whole moment that you're, I guess, describing of her running and the two energy fields and capturing that moment, that photo is everything. And wait till you see this.
I know. So this is weird because you asked me to pull it yesterday, and I put it away. I pulled it out. Hang on. Ask me another question while
I will. Actually, Mahira Farhan wants to know if you give photography lessons. We have a question.
I do. There's I have an online course right now. I have more stuff in the works, but I have an online course right now that it gives you like sort of the basics of photography. And it's sort of, there's like, I feel that at ground rules, it's a 1 hour course. It's super quick. Oh, here it is.
That's great.
It's super quick, but you're gonna have, when you go through the course, go through it and rewind it a lot, so because there's a lot of good information. I designed that because I think it's sort of a combination of like, well, this is the stuff that you need to know, and this is also because I have several photographers that photograph under my studio brand, and this is the stuff that I teach them. It's the basics. It's not a business course, how to be successful as a photographer or anything like that, but sort of like, like here's what you need to know.
That's great, because she actually had said, what if we know the basics but want something more advanced? What do you say to that?
When you get to more advanced, there's the school of hard knocks. I sort of like, you can go to art school and you that's where you develop your aesthetics, and the more advanced stuff, like I am in there's a future version of me creating this, a more advanced course, but I do have to say, going to workshops, live experiences, really makes you learn this, because you have to be thrown into these situations.
Right.
It's because things can change on a dime when you are shooting, and you got to be ready to change, change when that's required. I had a wedding at the New York Public Library, and we were all set up to do group portraits on the steps of the New York Public Library. And you notice how beautiful it is, the New York Public Library on 42nd Street. And then I get a phone call from the wedding planner. It's like, Christian, we can't come downstairs. There are two elderly people. Let's do all the group portraits in that room upstairs. There's a room where everybody is. And I know that room. It's got beautiful tapestry and everything. And we just had to run upstairs, and with my assistant and I, and within 5-7 minutes, we were set up for the next shot. Now, because you know exactly how to dial things in and whatnot, so it's
Right.
You got to be quick on your feet and know these things and what works and what doesn't. So school of hard knocks. So Ines, okay. So here's the photo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Well, you know what? I remember when I saw, I said, oh my God, this is my dress.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so
was
much to bring that. Oh my God, this is
it was
phenomenal. You're such a talent. God bless you.
Oh yeah. So this is not a real bride. I do have to say this is a fashion
editorial,
artist bazaar. And it was just Lake Como. Yes,
I remember that shoot. I remember
So beautiful.
that shoot, and it was just so spectacular when that came out. And it's few photographs really have that effect, that indelible effect, where they engrave themselves on your memory, and it becomes really hard to ever forget them. So I cannot erase that from my memory, and it's a good thing.
Thank you. Yes, you really with words. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Someone had asked, what recommendations do you have for brides deciding on a location to take their wedding photos?
Okay, so it depends where you're having your wedding, and so it's like there's we can't do a follow-up, right? No. Okay. So
location. Yeah, you can do the follow-up.
Oh, you can? Oh, okay. Can we ask this bride where the wedding is? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I don't do enough of these, so
we can. We'll ask her. I'll see if she gives me the response. But I guess you're right.
But in sort of a just as a general, okay, what are good locations? It's okay. So if you're in this city, in New York City, I have my spots, and a photographer should know these locations, anyways. Right. And so I can do street shoots. I can shoot inside places and whatnot, and it just needs to be pretty, and it needs to be suitable. The one sort of piece of advice that I have is that don't choose a location that's too far away, because a good photographer can make things work and everything. And this other thing about a wedding, if you're only shooting on a wedding day, keep it most simple and don't travel around too much, because you're just going to spend all this time in the car.
Right.
So yeah,
it's wasted time, right?
Yeah.
So everyone talks about different wedding photography styles. Yours is really unique. How would you describe your style?
Thank you. Somebody once described my wedding photography style that I couldn't come up with this term, but they called it fashion-forward wedding photojournalism. It was coined that way in a long time, and so that sort of sums it up. I might want to add the word authentic to it as well, and because it's sort of where I go into shooting a wedding, I do have some ideas. I know what is a good pose, and I kind of know what I want to come back with. But I'm always open to in between shots, to whatever sort of develops, and you got to keep an eye out for that, because there's I'm going back to this whole energy thing, because there's things happening that I can't anticipate as a photographer, and then every photo shoot almost every photo shoot I've ever done, things developed during the photo shoot. Even if it's a photo shoot or a wedding, there's always this very, very unknown, all these moments that I did not anticipate, and you just got to be ready for that.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. That and the unexpected will always happen, and like you
Yeah.
said, be open to it. Be open to the idea of this non-perfection, because this way you can roll with the energy. We also had somebody ask a question or say a comment. The best, you did my photos in 2008, so you've gotten a
Oh,
few comments here. Yeah.
yeah.
And is the in-between shots are always the best is another one. I love that. I guess I would say, what advice would you give to brides that are listening today that have had to postpone their weddings and are looking to, I guess, bring back their planning again because they've had to put their lives on hold? What advice would you give them?
Well, you're gonna have your wedding, and
Right.
it's time to get excited about it again because it's going to be all good. I think you're gonna love having this wedding even more than before because you've been through some tough times, and that this is going to be this wonderful, wonderful, joyous event that you're going to be looking forward to.
I love that. It really gives me shivers because I feel that now more than ever, this all is so much more meaningful than it was before we found ourselves
Oh
here.
my God!
So
Yeah.
yeah. So Christian, thank you so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate you giving our brides and our viewers a little bit of your advice and your thoughts, and keep the creativity growing. And I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to be able to see you in New York City soon when the world gets back to normal. We're almost there.
Oh
And
yeah.
until then,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see you ladies again,
All
and
of us.
I cannot wait to attend one of your fashion shows that have always been so amazing. And yeah, I cannot wait for everything to come back.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for
thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Christian.
Okay,
We'll
thank you.
talk to you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Okay, all
Bye-bye.
right, bye.
Bye. Take care.
Take care.
Do you want to?
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And